Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Okay, so I am going through a basic, or did another video prior to this one on building out a library that you could use in C++ for a set of simple algorithms and showing you how I'm planning to architect it using principles from the world of C. Now, what I'm looking at doing is the next block of algorithms I'm going to show you are just basic conversion algorithms that you can use for financial futures, namely Eurodollar and Treasury notes. Okay, because both of them are very confusing, and I'm going to do my best to try to make sure they're done right. And going to pass them through some highly experienced futures traders in the financial futures markets. So I do have those resources available, and I'm going to send out and vet the code through them for that. So what I'm about to show you may not be correct. This is just a starting point, and I just want to continue where I left off to show you how this C++ library will evolve. Okay, so let me just make sure I haven't missed anything. Yes. Okay. If you are a new member of mine or just getting into my Python trading series, algo trading series and course, it's really not just now about Python, but as I said, we're now moving into C++. So I've added a new note here saying these are the new additions I'm adding to this course series, which is obviously just not going to be Python, but also now C++, moving into the second phase, it looks like. Now, if you need to know the real reason why, and you do get up to or plan to join, you would want to definitely watch this video. Actually got a posting on it, and it's about a 50-minute video that will walk you through why I'm doing this using both Python and C++. Just due to speed and convenience and how I'm distinguishing the two. So there's this article on my blog, and that will walk you through that whole entire process. So going back to the code where we're at, there's this one available for my Quant Elite members. So as I said, if you download the source code that I've made available, this right here, and this will walk you through the very basic with one algorithm in it and how I plan to build it out. And from this point on, this is just the building upon of this set of code. So let me just continue along. Okay, so first, let me show you how things are evolving. With my course series here in the walkthrough or my basically my dashboard under the in the Python algo trading course, what you'll find is I've broken everything out into phases. I've currently got the basic mechanics built out, the building blocks infrastructure all in Python. We've also got here the equity pair trading, which we've done and we're going through right now, 100% in Python. But this module here is becoming more, there's some done in Python, but I'm taking some of that Python code and actually moving it into C++. I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. I've already, as I said, I've already shown you the prior role model C++ on how to do that. So as I said, I'm going to continue from that point on and using the UC Davis course, UC Davis Futures and Options Trading course, and using now C++ to transition into C++. And as I said, if you got to know why, there's this historical logic on the programming languages, and that video will walk you through all that, as confusing as that may sound. So let's just go into a typical Python script. So this is one of the scripts that I show, and all we're doing in this case is we're just doing very basic example how to calculate your contract value on a T-bond with 111 par 10 based upon this conversion, and how we get that into an actual contract value with the point values and the contract values that's available. So what I've done is this is the Python equivalent. So I've built a C++ function for that, as well as because with T-bonds, everything, well, not everything, but some of the time it's done in 30 seconds and sometimes it's done in 64 seconds. And that's where the confusion comes in. But right now, let's just focus on the 30 seconds and how to convert into 30 seconds. Okay, so this is all the Python. Now, this is just a very typical algorithm function with a library that I'm building out, or what will become a library. Now, I've told you about the header for this, the futures C++ for this, and you can see there's a lot of comments here, which is kind of critical, as well as the constants that I've introduced you before. But here, these are new functions that I've added. The first one I've added here was this one, and I've shown and walked you through that. But here, for video 5 from the UC Davis course, there's a couple of new functions that I've added. So what I've added, one is the Eurodollar conversion. So we just pass the quote, and we do a yield calculation for that. We've also got the yield change total, and we do a calculation for that. Again, we walk you through the code, and we have the associated video for that, which is back, the source of it, right from the UC Davis course. So it continues from there. We've got some more conversion code, let's say for T-bond contract value, where we have the T-bond and the T-bond at par and percentage, and then we calculate the contract value using the U.S. Treasury 10-year point value, which is again defined here, which is at 31.25. And there's also another one that's been defined here, is the U.S. yield unit at $25. Okay, so those will be better described as we get to the live lessons. So this is where we're at right now on June 9th. So that's one of the new functions. We've also got a way to convert our change in yield and convert it into 30 seconds, because that's kind of important, as the UC Davis course will explain that. And these are just more functions that I'm adding to this futures, call it library. And these are just new functions. Just want to show you how they evolve. And this will become a fairly big library. And this is how we use it. This is the client code that I'm using for my main function, C++, to demonstrate the usage of these new functions. I've shown you before how to call the futures class that we define. This is just, again, for demonstration purposes. Most likely will change, but this is just one example how you can do it very simply. We've got this first function that I demoed in the previous video, and we've also got now new functions, 3 new ones, again from the 5th video in the UC Davis course. And again, this is an example of calculating the change in the yield and the total of it between 1.14 and that movement from 1.14 to 1.24. We also, or here I'm also showing you the contract value of, as I said, 1/10 par 10. In other words, this right here, showing you how to calculate that contract value of 1/10 par 10, if that's a way to announce it. I'm an expert here. And lastly, just another way to demonstrate how to calculate the change and convert it into 30 seconds. So these are the sort of functions that we're adding as we move along. And as I said, these three new ones are specifically for the financial futures. Okay, so these are just examples, and hopefully it will evolve into an actual system. But the only difference is obviously we're using the C++ instead of Python. So let me just run this just to show you how it works. All works. Everything builds, but here it is. So first example, we're showing you how to get the Eurodollar conversion of 1.14. We have, let's say, yield again, as I said here. The yield example would have moved from 1.14 to 1.24, so it's the value of that. So the value of that would be $250. T-bond contract value of 110 part 110 would be $423, and then the T-bond contract value of a negative 24% move would be in 30 seconds would be negative 0.75. I think I'm hoping I'm getting it right, but this is just an example of how it's to be done, I hope. And then I got to pass this code over and make sure it's done right to, we'll call them the experts in futures trading. All right, so there you go. Again, all this code is made available to all my QuantLeap members as I move along and as this futures quote-unquote library evolves. And obviously this is going to get more and more complex as I add more functionality to it by myself going through the UC Davis course. Now, right now I'm just focusing on the mechanics, but then there's another level which will be done in the parent code, or the client code as I call it, to use these mechanical functions coming out of this futures library. And I'm hoping this helps anybody out there. If you've got questions, just let me know. Later.